Still sitting in a truck seat that's older than your favorite pair of work boots? Your back has been filing complaints for years. If your seat is worn out, sagging, or just plain uncomfortable, it's time for an upgrade. Head on over to seatspecialist.com. Check out their selection of quality replacement seats built to keep you comfortable mile after mile. And don't forget to use promo code TR104U to save 10% on your order. Seatspecialist.com, because a better ride starts with a better seat.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of That's Delivered. I'm your host, Ray, and today we've got a fascinating guest who's with us. His journey is one of resilience, determination, and passion for pursuing dreams, no matter what the obstacle. Joining us today is Adam, who is a remarkable story that spans continents. Originally from Ethiopia, Adam has made quite the transition in life to being here in the United States. He's trained in martial arts, worked in security at a major trucking facility, and has big plans for the future. Adam, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, how you doing today?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing good. Yeah, I'm excited to have you on the show.
I'm excited to be here, man. It's good seeing you.
Yeah, likewise. So let's start from the beginning, Adam. You move here from Ethiopia, which has a huge challenge of its own. I mean, that's a big transition. Can you tell us a bit about your life and what it was like back in Ethiopia? And what are some of the things that you can remember most vividly, and what ultimately led you to here to make a decision to come to the United States? So that's quite a bit of questions there. You can take them one at a time.
Um, no, that's right. I came from Ethiopia in 2014 of May, and life in Ethiopia is different completely. The culture is completely different. The setup is different. The lifestyle is different, and um, you know, coming here was actually a family gather, to say the least. My sister came when I was a kid. I think I was maybe around 5, 6 years old when she transitioned to the U.S. for education purposes. Graduated and came back. Got married when I was 11 or 12, and then took her husband, brought him out here, and they started their own family. And how it all went down is my mom came to help her out with her kids when she got pregnant. And it was kind of a back to back. So she stayed for about 4 years to help out. And my mom thought about, bringing everybody here for a better opportunity, and that's how it all started. Yeah.
Nice. Man, so what was it like in Ethiopia?
I came when I was 22 years old. I'm 32 right now. I've been here for 10 years. So I remember most of my lifestyle or my life in Ethiopia was completely different. Um, like for example, everything is in a walking distance, so not a lot of people have to drive. Public transportation is very easily accessible,
Oh,
at least at the time when I was there. Um, of course, the food is great. Zero processed foods up there. Everything is cooked the same day, ate the same day, and plus the school system, all your teachers are put in place basically to make that school as challenging as possible so you can come out on top. Um, we have a saying where our teachers are trying to fail everybody. You just have to overcome. You have to do your best not to be in that percentage of the failing students, to say. Besides that, we did a lot of walking to school, walking for groceries, walking for everything. Yeah, it's different out here. I came here and immediately you need a car. Everything is so far apart. Yeah, that's one of the biggest differences that I've seen when I came here.
I mean, that alone is an eye opener. I mean,
Very.
the school system and the teachers, how involved you are with them, knowing that connection that they want you to succeed versus to just pass a test.
Right.
Yeah, man, that's huge. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, it's great in the US. The school system is designed to make sure that you do your best. Opportunities are presented to you.
Hmm.
As in, if you are a little bit behind, you have tutors, you have your teachers that are willing to spend extra time to help you out. We didn't have that there. It's all on
Mm.
you, you know.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, so if you did get left behind, what did life look like?
Whew. Thank God I wouldn't know. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Wow.
I grew up in a very strict household. We
Hmm.
have we had schedules for everything. You come home from school, you're immediately changing out of your uniform into studying. We take a little bit of break, maybe in between, but we did a lot of reading. A lot. Like if you have homework, the first thing that needs to go is your homework, and then after that, it's further development, basically.
Wow. Yeah, that's sounds great for a child to develop and to overcome challenges. I mean, it starts at a young age. And I mean, just from knowing you, I see that you have discipline. I mean, that's huge. Um, I guess what are some of the biggest challenges you faced when you first arrived to US? I know you say the cars was a lot different than the walking. What were some others?
I would put culture at the top. It actually took me a very long time to transition into the American lifestyle. Culture meaning not necessarily the outfits that we wear and the way we talk, but in general, as in the US lifestyle is pretty much around um, an individual, based on an individual. People are taught to be strong, independent, focus on you. It's focus on you, grow by yourself, do your best to be the strongest, the best, the better version of yourself. And where I'm from in Ethiopia, it's be the best you can so you can be the best for everyone. It's all about community. It's
Wow.
about family. Whatever you put out or whatever you put in, it's for the entire community or for your entire family. You never did one specific thing just to benefit just you. We never really focused on ourselves individually, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that does. I mean, I've
Like
heard.
having a big one example. Sorry to cut you off.
Mm-mm.
One example is we always ate in one tray. It doesn't matter if it's two of you, three of you, six of you. Well, the whole family comes together. The only time we eat by ourselves is if we're in school. Obviously, we take our own lunch. Even in that, best friends will get together and then mix the foods and eat together. You know,
So you say a
it's
tray.
very, yeah.
Describe for the listeners
It's like a bigger
tray was.
plate.
Okay.
We call it a tray because it's one plate for one individual, and then just magnify that by 3 to 6, depending on how many people you have. There's bigger plates
So it
that
had
can
like a
hold.
divider in it.
No divider. You just eat off the same plate together.
Wow.
It's love, man.
Huh.
We all focused on being together as much as possible for every moment. Like I said, breakfast, everybody sits down and eats together. Lunch, if you're in school, obviously you're by yourself, but lunch at home, if you're not in school or if you're at home on the weekend, everybody eats together no matter what. Yeah.
So that unity is, I mean, that feels good. Like you said, it's love. That unity is felt. And then instead of
Very.
people feeling by themselves, they feel like they are with other people. Are there a lot of families that have just like one child or two children, or is it more? How does that go?
Yeah. I mean, if you have one kid, um, you're still gonna be the mom, the dad, and the kid will still eat together. And if you have 5 kids, same thing.
Okay.
We're all gonna sit in a circle and eat together.
I didn't know if families got together,
Yep.
yeah, with other families.
Um, I explain what do you mean by without their families.
So if they got a small family unit, like three with mom and
Hmm.
dad and one child,
Hmm. Right.
do they unite with other families, or is it just that's their family and that's it?
That's a good question. They do unite, and 9 times out of 10, you're more likely to be either with your neighbor or your neighbors are more likely to be with you.
Man, so they would
Especially
eat
dinner.
dinner together
Dinner,
too?
especially dinner. Dinner is a big thing back home. At least when I was there, either we're having dinner with the neighbor or neighbors are having dinners with us. There are places where it will be a huge gate, for example, and in that gate there will be 3 to 4 two different houses, and they're all in the same gate. So technically, the interaction feels more like a family or a community rather than separate houses. Oh, they're our neighbors, but we all live together technically in the same household. I mean, in the same gate. Everybody gets water from the same spot. Everybody uses the same power or electricity. So there are more times that you will see people coming together and having food together. Drinking coffee is a big deal over there too. They use coffee and food is being used for a communication purpose, I guess, or a connection purpose,
Oh,
just to get around. Yeah.
so was there any lone wolves, like people that just didn't do that?
I was, I came in when I was 22. I can't really say much about that because I wasn't too observant,
Okay.
or maybe I just never got to see that. It's not ideal. So it would be a little weird or outside of the norm to see somebody that's a lone wolf.
Wow.
Yeah,
Man,
everybody has a best friend, everybody has a family member. Yeah.
wow. That's something to digest because you come over here and it's probably have feelings of loneliness that can
Very.
come up. Wow.
It took, like I said, it took a while for me to get a little bit comfortable because growing up, I have, it's hard to have best friends, multiple best friends. And now that I see in the US, for example, you're more likely to have one or two best friends. But I was, rich when it comes to friends, best friends. I had 8 best friends. I mean, I would lay my life for these guys, and they would do the same thing for me. I travel every 2 years just to visit them and spend a month,
Mm.
and I, when I go back home, for example, I don't have to pay for a hotel or anything. These guys will literally fight over me to see who, like, oh no, he's staying with me tonight. No, he's staying with me tonight. You know,
Yeah, that's
and
that's nice.
it's perfect. We went to school together the entire time, from school to training together, from training to church together, from church to food together. And there are times either we're all spending at somebody's house, the
What about
whole day.
what about fights and arguments and disputes?
We never had. We did. That's a good question. People. We're all people.
Yeah,
Sometimes we
yeah,
end up arguing, and most arguments usually comes up from. Yeah, it could be a movie that we watched, or a question that we're trying to answer from homework or something like that.
Yeah.
Um, but also, there are troublemakers outside of the group,
Okay.
and maybe one might pick on one of the guys,
Yeah.
and we're always going to be
I guess
coming
that,
together
I
to
guess that's
solve.
universul then.
It's very universal. Yeah, I mean,
So,
less bullying. I can tell you that much.
okay.
Where I'm from, bullying is big in the U.S.,
Well, some people don't
but
think it exists.
it's it's crazy. It does exist. It's just in different levels. You have physical bullying, you have emotional bullying, right?
Yeah.
Um, we're all people with different perspectives in life.
No,
Whatever.
it's kind of a different way to look at it that I've heard. Some people don't like that concept because they think it's makes people weaker. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I see that point, but there's also a way to make somebody strong without being bullied.
yeah,
Strength can come in from your environment, right? If you have a good parent that could push you to your, you know, not necessarily limit in a sense physically, but just physically, mentally, emotionally, just development.
yeah,
If
help
you
you
have
to grow.
someone that's an idol, if you have someone that could show you the right directions, obviously you can only change somebody that wants to be changed.
There it
But
is.
the bullying, the physical part comes from these kids that are being bullied either at home or in their environment too. There's always some cause for them to cause that.
Hmm.
But where I'm from, bullying was very limited. Sometimes you just might argue with people and end up in a fight,
Yeah,
and sometimes you don't. But nobody just specifically picks on you because you look a certain way or you talk a certain way.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Yeah, I know what you're saying there. So I guess that kind of leads into the other part. You mentioned martial arts. How did you get into martial arts? And what role has that played in your life during that, especially during the transition while living here in this country?
Right. I started training at the age of 16. Kind of funny story. When I was 13, that's when I wanted to train. My godfather is my coach, my current coach, my previous coach. And me and my parents decided that I can go register. So they gave me money to go to register. But on the way, my best friends were playing soccer outside. So, you get tempted and I joined. I started playing and time passes. It gets dark and I come back. I forgot to register completely. And my dad took the money out of my pocket and just didn't say anything. I completely forgot about it. 3 years later, I brought it up again. I said, "Hey, I want to do martial art." And then he brought it up. Remember when we gave you money to go and register? And then it hit me, and I remembered, oh, yeah, I played soccer and I forgot. And then he asked me where the money was, and I can't remember because he took it out when I wasn't, aware. And then we had that funny moment. So instead of giving me the money and sending me again, he walked with me and we sat down with the coach. Of course, they know each other. My coach is my godfather. My dad was right there. I registered at the age of 16. The only reason why I wanted to train was mainly because I watched martial art movies and my best friends watched martial art movies. We all, take the air every time we were outside. There's also a game called tetherball. You know what that is. In the US, tetherball is used with hands and we play with our legs. So, we always did the martial art kind of techniques, trying to pick the ball, and that's how it all started. You know, and we at some point, I think it was a month or two after I started, I became an influence to all my best friends, and 8 of them joined as well. And that's how it started.
You got to be flexible to do all that. I mean, that's
Very
definitely going to help
flexible.
with that
Very
game you're
flexible.
playing at a young age. That helped your body to adapt probably to that.
I was the oldest compared to my best friends by a year to two, and I also played soccer for my high school, middle school. I played volleyball as well, and I had very tight muscles. So my splits were terrible compared to the other guys because they didn't put that much stress on their bodies. And it took a while, but about a year or two in, that's when I was able to completely do all the splits on all three planes.
Wow.
Um, but the more flexible you are, the easier it is for you to do a lot of different techniques. But at the same time, high flexibility equals low amount of strength. So your power goes down the more flexible you are. And not a lot of people know that.
Huh. Yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't think about that one. You got a lot
Hmm.
of insight on techniques, and I mean, there's a lot of, how would you say it, misinformation about how to
Right.
train your body, how to feed your body properly. I've talked with you before, and you said you can pick up on a lot of those things where people just want to make money and they're not even helping anybody actually accomplish
Right.
a goal. Yeah,
Yeah, we have a lot of those influencers. I have a sports and exercise science degree, and I was a coach at Lifetime before I came and joined you.
Lifetime Fitness.
Yeah, I think I'm allowed to say that.
Heck yeah. Yeah, it's a
But
podcast. There's a lot of stuff you can say.
yeah,
Yeah,
the fitness industry in most cases, not everybody is the same, obviously, but some people use it for business, specifically just for business for an income. What some people would do is prolong the process
mm,
so you can maintain them clients.
right.
I personally believe it should be for education purposes. All coaches should train their clients so they know how to train themselves.
Don't give them
That way they don't have to be independent or
don't just give
dependent.
them a plate of food,
Right.
but teach them how to get that food so they can feed themselves for a lifetime, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I always had a mindset where if a client comes to me, I didn't want to train that client for more than 6 months. I would like to transfer as much knowledge and self awareness. That's a big thing because most of the biggest reason you need a coach is to make sure that you're doing something correctly to prevent or minimize injury. And so like I said, they prolong the process to a point where they can just milk the money. You
So
know,
yeah, knowledge is power, right?
knowledge is power. Yes.
That's why a
If
lot
a
of
person, if
podcasters are
it,
successful because they're sharing knowledge with people, and
absolutely,
yeah, it's going to help. It's we don't have to hoard it. Yeah,
exactly,
I like that
exactly.
style that you developed. Very nice.
Hmm.
Hmm. What style of martial arts did you train in?
It's World Taekwondo.
Okay.
It's a Korean sport. It's an Olympic sport actually as well. And I did a little bit of boxing because my coach's brother was a boxer back home. So he trained me a little bit. But I mainly use those two. One to escape certain negative um, activities that could happen in my young age when I was
Yeah.
16, 17. It's very easy to get used to all the bad things, the drinking and the smoking. And that helped because after completion and training, every day I'm too exhausted to do anything else. It's like, I got to go home and get some sleep because I got to wake up
Yeah.
at 5 a.m. for another training. So
Keep you out of trouble.
Yeah, I took a big advantage of my coach being my godfather because you're only allowed to train 3 times to 4 times a week,
Oh wow.
and you know because we had that connection, and I didn't, I presented a very uh, high motivation. He enjoyed my work, so he let me train every class. So I went out and did the morning classes from 6 a.m. to 7:30 a.m. and get to school by 8, and then come back when I'm done with class and do the 4 p.m. to 4:30 5:30, and then the night class, which is the adult class from you know 6 to 7:30 basically. And I was at that awkward age. I was at the age of 16 when I started, and that allowed me to train in the younger class and the older class because it's 16 and above and 16 below.
Okay.
And
Just to
so
just to speak on that, when you said it kept you out of trouble, people may look at martial arts or they may think about it as something that promotes violence. What would you say to that person? What would you say to someone that may say that?
um I won't necessarily disagree too hard on it because it doesn't matter what type of martial art you do. An individual has to act a certain way that could be seen as a negative or a positive. For example, you and I can be doing the same exact martial art, and if you have a very positive household, a very positive environment, a very positive coach, you're more likely to do good things with it. And if I have the opposite, I'm more likely to do bad things with
Wow.
it, if that makes
Nicely
sense.
said. No, that's perfect.
Yeah, any type of martial art movie, if you have ever seen one, like it doesn't matter which movie, but as long as it's a martial art movie, even the bad guy knows how to throw kicks. Sometimes they're actually better than the star of the movie in their techniques, but it's all how they were brought up, who is influencing them, what type of environment they're in, or what they see. So
Wow, you mentioned influencers quite a bit. They can shape and mold young ones very easily. I mean, especially with social
very
media,
easy,
internet.
very.
Wow. Man, what a responsibility. I mean, that we have as older ones to try to combat that.
Mm,
And a lot of the reason why I started the podcast is to help people have something positive to look at, especially in the trucking industry, because you can have a good truck driver and you can have a bad one. We all have tools that are available to us. It's up to us how we use them, how we use it in our life, and we can use it for good, or we can, like I said, we can use it for bad. So that's huge. Yeah,
exactly.
you're already practicing that right there in your life. I mean, I've noticed you be a positive influence for a lot of people, even on your job with the security at the trucking facility. And you've always promoted the positivity versus the negativity. That's huge. Nice.
Very much.
Um, so yeah, martial arts training. I mean, so you were drawn to it. You had a good environment. Can you share a challenging moment in your martial arts training, or how you overcame it?
I would say the biggest challenge that I've had was injuries. Injuries were tough. At a certain point, when you do something, it doesn't matter if it's good or bad. You be, you become that thing. It becomes a habit, and then when when an injury takes that habit away from you for a short period of time, depending on how long it's going to take to recover, it's very downgrading. It's emotionally draining. It's mentally upsetting. My first injury was I made a mistake of not warming up. I just got excited. I was just a kid. We um we do some acrobatic or gymnastic movements to further enhance our Taekwondo techniques, especially, I've always wanted to be in movies. I've always wanted to do the stunts myself and things like that. And Taekwondo is basically a lot of legs, about 90% of legs, and you know, the rest is just your arms. So even our fights is, you know, a basic kick gives you 1 point. A spinning kick to the body gives you 2 points. A basic kick to the head gives you 3 points. A spinning kick to the head gives you 4 points. And in order to get a point from your hand, a punch, you have to either throw the other person off balance or you have to hit them so hard they fall down. And our mentality was, why punch them in the chest when you can kick them? Because your legs are 7 times stronger. And that's an automatic point already. So, you know, when you do all of that and you get injured, when I didn't warm up and we were doing gymnastic, we were doing aerials, and instead of warming up because I got there late, you get excited when you see all your friends. Like, oh yeah, Adam's here now. We're a full team, and then they just hype me up. I went and did 5 aerials back to back to back. I turned around. You raise your arm. You get a little cocky because you're like 17 and you think you own the world, and I just fell down. And that was the last thing I remember. Supposedly, I woke up in a hospital. I had an internal bleeding around my rib. And because of that, I was out for about 3 months. Wow. And just not being able to do what I did, twice a day training, going to school and moving around, play soccer and volleyball. It brought me down big time.
3 months. Whoa, that is a lot.
Because your rib, there was a tear for that to happen, and your rib cage is covering your lungs, and your lungs are covering your heart. It made it difficult to breathe.
Yeah.
So every time your rib cage stretches, there's pain. Every time your rib cage, contracts, there's pain. It was very uncomfortable. Yeah.
So that's why when boxers or kickboxers go with the liver punch, the liver kick, do a lot of damage.
Yes, it's one of the most painful and limiting spot. It's more than the pain. It's actually the reaction from your body that just holds you down. There's so much pain because your entire body contracts to a point you've never felt a contraction before, where all the muscles tense up. It just takes a minute to feel better in the moment, to get up. Yeah. So it takes a lot. When I see boxers and these MMA fighters take a rib shot or liver hit and they get up, they're tough.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that takes a lot of discipline.
Yeah.
To be a fighter, keep getting up. Yeah, we all have our own ways of fighting, so practicing that in a ring or at a challenge, a cage, or what have you, is the physical form. But, some people deal with other challenges as well. So don't want anybody to feel it like they're not a fighter. You can be a fighter in many ways. So you mentioned the Olympics. Did you want to bring that up?
Yeah, I competed for the 2017 state championship in Minnesota, and I ended up competing against the peak team. Peak team are the B team, basically. You go from peak to the Olympic team, and there were a lot of complications. I was in school full time, taking 21 credits while I was working full time and still coaching. I had to help out the classes. We also had a second school in Woodbury. I was the one that goes to Woodbury and teach a class. So because of all those reasons, I was not able to accept the invitation for the peak team.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad. Oh, so in 2017, I had my second major injury as well, and I just, I was just having a good time. I promised my coach that it would be my last fight, and it was my last time that I fought over there. But 2017 at the beginning, I blew my left knee open doing a trick called 920.
Wow.
That's when you jump off the ground and spin 920 degrees and throw a spinning hook kick. And there was water spilled, and I slipped and bounced off my knee and just bloody. And I didn't want to get surgery because I was still young, and I had that mentality where you give the body what it needs and it heals itself, which it does. It's not wrong, but there are limitations to that too. And because of those reasons, I had to step away.
Whew. Wow.
Tough.
Yeah, that's a lot, man. So man, you know how to pull yourself back up, man. That's a lot to come back from.
Yeah.
Um, man, yeah, I just want to. So you're a black belt.
Yes, I am.
Um,
I have an international second degree black belt.
second degree.
Yes.
Wow,
The
man.
University of Taekwondo is founded in Korea.
Okay.
And what the world system does is your state grandmasters will be the main, um, I guess you call it judges. You're tested just like you go to school and you get a final,
Okay.
and you have to present essays about the history of Taekwondo because you have to know what you're doing, where it came from, the reason, and so on. And you got to do research. Taekwondo is not just about throwing legs and punches, but there's a lot that goes into it. That is knowledge about history, knowledge about every technique that you do. And they also teach us how to speak Korean, by the way, for
No
every
way.
move. Yes, for every movement, there's a word used for it. Like, for example, um, if someone just takes one step, that's a walking stance, right?
Yeah.
Or you see boxers get into their fighting stance. That stance will have a name in Korea, and they will teach us every movement, your hand techniques, your leg techniques, your stances, all of it, in addition to counting numbers. So, that's a great way to slowly start your way into learning another language as well.
Wow. Yeah, I grew up with Street Fighter, and so you would hear
Mhm.
some verbiage. Is that accurate or is that something else?
Well, I believe Street Fighter is Japanese.
That's Japanese. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Was Tekken's
I
the other?
mean, hmm?
How about Tekken?
Taken, same thing.
Tekken, same thing.
I
Okay.
believe it's Japanese as well. So, Taekwondo, World Taekwondo, and International Taekwondo are from South and East Korea, and then Japanese brought karate. You got samurai, of course. You got judo, and you have sumo wrestling as well.
Huh.
And then Muay Thai comes from Thailand, and so on. So different language, different culture, different martial art.
All right. You helped me with that. That
Mhm.
I need to learn some more. I got a lot more to learn. Thank you.
No, that's a good taken
Wow.
in the Street Fighters are. I don't know if you're talking about the movies or you're talking about the video games, but they're all, we did the same thing.
Did you play video games?
I
Any kind
did for a little
of
bit.
bit?
And
Yeah. What'd you think of them?
video games are a great way to kind of hide from reality. It's a way to decompress. You know, it's interesting. We're told and taught to work hard. Um, be the best you can. I mean, I've never seen anybody saying, "Okay, when you relax, I need you to relax like no other." When you go out and eat, I need you to enjoy it the best you can, to focus on the moment. Nowadays, we live like we have a million lives. We take everything for granted.
Such a hurry.
Everything just got to be done right then and then. So I'm all for video games. I'm not for people playing video games for too long, because it takes away. Obviously, like I mentioned at the beginning, it's about getting away from reality, to decompress, to relax a little bit. But if you do it for too long, too many hours, now there's no time for self development. The only thing you're developing is your character in the game, or your skills in the game only. There's no physical development. There is no mental development. There is no emotional development. If you're not going to be doing these things to grow as a person, then I believe it's a waste of time. It's the waste of life. Like I said, we take everything for granted.
Yeah, too much of anything is bad. Alcohol, chocolate. You want to do it in moderation. You eat too much chocolate, that's not good for your body.
Yep.
Sweets, sugar, but that makes a lot of sense.
Everything has to be limited to an extent.
Right.
Not enough sleep, too exhausted. Too much sleep, too exhausted. Right?
Yeah. So how much sleep do you like to
get? As much as my body needs. My body automatically wakes up whenever.
Yeah.
So I don't worry about quantity as much as quality.
How you do that?
You can't really control it, unfortunately. I don't know much about. I didn't study sleep much about it,
It is an
but
art form, isn't it?
very, very. You know, sometimes you have to force yourself to sleep. Like, for example, your job is a very difficult job, and people like you have a very much more important role in this universe, because without you guys, the world will collapse. Food will not be delivered. Equipments will not be delivered. Like, you can say anything. None of it will be delivered to us. A big place like UPS, USPS, Amazon, whatever. If you guys are not on the road constantly, there's no transportation for these essential things that we need as a social, as people, to be able to function, right?
Right.
So
yeah. Well,
you guys need the most sleep, and I mean, we've seen that, how many hours you guys put in. It's crazy. So sometimes, some people have to force themselves to sleep. Sometimes you got people that can just fall asleep easily. People like to stay in bed. They do say the recommended is between 7 to 9 hours for anyone that has a lot of stress on their bodies. And you have bodybuilders that talk about sleeping for 12 hours. I mean, it's great if that's their own, that helps them, if that works for them. Everyone is different. You have people that operates just fine with 4 hours. And then you have people that operates just fine with 8 hours. And then, there are people like you and I that might not operate with 8 hours that fine,
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just if you feel well rested, it doesn't matter how many hours you slept.
Right.
It's that deep sleep that we need the most.
Perfect. Yeah, you said it, man. So how did you end up at a security at a trucking facility? Um,
Right.
and what was your typical day look like at the working for the security company?
So I was at the moment I was going to school full time again. I started studying um, for my bachelor's in education. I was going for an English major, and during that time, my mom got very sick, and I was almost done about you know a couple of weeks left before finals, and that's when my mom passed away, and I did not handle that.
Ooh.
I don't know if there's any
Yeah.
specific way you can handle something like that, but
Wow.
I wasn't able to complete school because, I was at the hospital while she was sick, back and forth, while I was trying to make a little bit of money on the side and trying to do homework out the hospital. It didn't go well. So once she passed away, you know, we're not that rich of a family, because we all have payments and we all have responsibilities, but we all had to come together and complete some of the payments that she used to have. So I decided, okay, I'm going to take a pause from school. That's okay. I can come back to it at any time. I'm going to apply for jobs and do Lyft when I'm not doing whatever job I'm getting, and have some sales experience. So I applied for sales. I applied for insurance companies. I applied for security companies. I submitted about 49 job applications, and the only one that invited me for an interview was Allied Universal, the security company. And I went, spoke to the management. They had a supervisor position. They asked me if I had any leadership experience. I had leadership experience in my past, in my coaching. So that was in the resume that I presented. So the position was given to me. And that's how we met.
Wow. Yeah.
My day to day life at security.
Yeah, you did a
And
good
nine
job with it
times
too.
out,
I mean,
huh?
we noticed a huge difference when you came on board. Yeah. Everything got a lot more smooth. Um, because it wasn't like that before you got there.
And I heard,
Yeah.
um, remember we mentioned a little bit about environment and the people you're around. Uh, 9 times out of 10, we all know 10 bad influencers can change one good influencer.
Yeah.
But, there's a very small chance that one good person can make a difference in those bad 10 people. And I was lucky enough to meet some people that were open minded, to see a change, to see things in a different way. And I mean, sometimes it's a lot easier to connect with people based on what their lifestyle is and what they're going through, being able to understand how their day to day life is, or what the job is doing for them, um, what ways they can develop themselves or develop with the team. I did my very best to bring everyone together, even though they all had different criterias on the job.
Yeah.
Sometimes we don't even see some of the other guys that are employee entrances compared to the truck entrance. And then people at the truck entrance, we basically spend more time with you guys, helping you guys getting those seals cut off or putting those seals on for you. And 9 times out of 10, it's customer service. It's put your best foot forward, present the best attitude. Because prospectively, we we don't experience the amount of difficulty as you guys do, especially on the road. You know, you guys are basically operating a very heavy machinery, and it could be life and death. You know, and like the least we can do is present ourselves to be the safest, the kindest, the more engaging attitude for you guys
Yeah, I mean,
when you get
there's
out
so
there.
many procedures to follow too, so that nobody gets hurt. Just right there
Absolutely.
at that gate can
Uh-huh.
be life changing. I know there was a
Very.
situation that happened
Hmm.
where someone that was on the job for not that long and they got
Yeah.
injured. I mean, that was heard around the country. That's what was going on at St. Paul, and that got a lot of attention. So
Hmm.
glad
Yeah.
you helped out there.
Yeah. During my interview, my boss showed me that incident, and it's very graphic.
Mhm.
It's very sad, and no amount of money is worth the injury.
Yeah,
And I made it my primary, secondary, and even the third most important thing to be safety. And you use what you know and apply it to whatever life you're in. So I used my injuries and limitations to explain to those guys that it's not worth it. Like at the end of the day, your primary goal should be going home safe so you can come back the next day.
yeah,
You know?
yeah. I feel really bad about what happened to the guy. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's so man, wow, they showed you the video.
Communication.
That's a lot.
Communication.
Yeah.
Very
Mm,
bad.
mm.
So yeah, I'm glad those changes were made, and I'm very glad that I met so many good people. I swear, and like some of you guys are very motivational to a point where I had the interest of getting into the trucking business. You know,
Yeah.
I like
Yeah, it's nice.
all I wanted in this world is to matter, and you guys matter big time.
Oh,
Like I said, if you guys are not out there, the economy just collapses. That's just a fact.
yeah.
I'm not just saying that because I know you or I appreciate you. You know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, then I guess and vice versa. I like to give it right back. Like our day is so much harder when individuals don't know how bad it can get. And so being around people like you, it does matter to meet people that make a difference in so many people's lives. So I got a lot of respect for you as well. I
And
think it takes two. I
I
think,
appreciate that.
yeah,
Yes,
you know,
yes,
you
sir.
and you changed that security gate and made things a lot better for us. Instead of us being afraid of something happening, we can feel a lot better and a lot safer when we pull up to get our seals checked. So great job there, man. Really
Yes,
applaud
sir.
that.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Appreciate that.
nice. What did you learn about the trucking industry? And what influenced your desire to become a truck driver? I know you
You
mentioned
guys
that.
did
Yeah.
it. You guys did it. Absolutely.
Oh
I
man.
mean, I made so many good friends. I could say that. I'm 32 years old. Some of you guys are older than me. I mean, I'm sure all of you guys are a little older than me, but I mean, even to the oldest, which is in his late 50s. You
Yeah.
know, we're connecting. I'm helping him out with his fitness right now, so he reached out to me. I give him a little bit of tips and tricks here and there. You know,
Nice.
it's great because, like I said, the more you surround yourself with good people, the better you become. Right now, that's why I'm trying to surround myself with people like you. I'm very picky in who I want in my life because I've went through so many difficult times in my life. I mean, everybody has, but of course, I have the choice to make a difference to my future. And if I'm not picking somebody that can push me to my best, for me to be the best of myself, then what's the point of life? I don't want to go backwards. I want to go forwards just
Yeah.
because I got limited in some things that I wanted to accomplish in the future. Doesn't mean I can't find a different path to accomplish something else, but in a good way.
Yeah. I mean, that's huge. Yeah. I
I
guess.
really wish I was in the Olympics right now, but
Yeah.
it's okay. Uh,
Yeah. There's other paths. I mean, we'll love to have you. Try to find some way to create more of a path to get you your license, or even if it's something else, even if it's just management too, and the logistics industry too is huge. Because with your degree and all, so that you can use, so pursuing that is another path as well. Um, we need people that can understand the truckers and have a respect for what's done out there. I mean, that's huge. So, um, I think it reminds me of when you were growing up, that community that you had, trying to create that over here,
yeah,
in a place that maybe is not as much it's not as popular. So, um,
I've
kudos to you,
met
bro. Yeah.
some people here that are good friends of mine, and I take them to an Ethiopian restaurant, and we eat off of the same plate, and their first time reaction was priceless, of course, and they were like, "What is this? Why are we not eating on our own plate?" Like, hey, it's time to get connected. This is how we do things. This is how we eat. It just brings people together. One, you eat with your hands, so your hands are phone free. You're gonna stay in the moment. Um, in my culture, I personally like to talk about the food itself, the nutrients itself, and that engagement face to face, eating the same food off the same plate, talking about that food, how good it is, what good values it has. And in addition to, of course, like how their day was, what are their, plans for the weekend. You're just bonding rather than eating off just one plate for yourself and being glued to your phone and not really being in the moment. So I'm trying to create that lifestyle with my friends that I've met here as well.
Nice. 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 Man, that's really great. Um, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
That's a tough question.
It is, isn't it?
As you know, I personally like to take things day at a time. Of course, we should all have a plan, what we want to accomplish, what we want to do. But, tomorrow is not promised. I just got in a car accident that was eye opening as well.
How
It's
you doing?
the I, I'm good now. I'm not as sore, but
That was
I've never
huge.
been hit that hard.
How fast were they going?
Um, she was going 55 on 55. The
Yeah.
speed limit is 55, highway 55
Yeah.
on Argenta, and you know, I'm sure she did hit the brake around when she got closer. So give or take between 45 to 50 mile an hour impact.
Yeah,
Um,
that's a lot.
yeah, for
The
anyone
impact is
listening,
multiplied.
put your seatbelt on.
Yeah.
Because
Right?
if I didn't have my seatbelt, I'm telling you right now, I would probably been out of the passenger window for sure. Even with that seatbelt, I felt that connection. So you don't have to look cool.
No.
Even Tupac used to have his seatbelt on.
Nice. That's right. Yeah, you don't need to be cool. That's a good one. Oh man. Man, so man, you got the
But
martial art.
yeah,
Yeah.
to give you a good
Even as
idea,
martial arts, yeah. I mean, you taking
plan
hits, you
wise,
could probably think you're invincible. You don't take that.
Yeah, that's true actually. Especially if you end up, practicing sparring with people that are stronger, heavier, faster, and you can take their hits, you can take their techniques. Sometimes it does give you that mindset where you're invincible, where you're tough, but it's up to you if you want to take that into a positive, saying, okay, if I can take somebody's hit that is heavier than me, that is faster than me, and stronger than me, then I can do really good things with my own division. Rather than, oh, if I can take his hit, I can just whoop anybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right. Huh. So you've already done so much, and you still got a lot of life ahead of you. So moving to a new country, mastering martial arts. I'm sure you can always keep mastering it, but now pursuing a new career, possibly. What advice would you give others who might be facing big transitions or chasing their dreams, especially when the path isn't easy? What advice would you give them?
Mhm. I like to believe that everything we do can be easy if we surround ourselves with good people, not just good emotionally, somebody that is really kind. I mean, even non-kind people can still be good for us. For example, let's say somebody just moved into the country and, you know, the transition is difficult, the culture is difficult. Best thing they can do, especially someone that like me that came from a different country, like a community-based country, it's a lot easier for us to make friends, connect with good people, be selective, but connect with good people. It's mostly who you know rather than what you know, because what you know can only get you so far, but who you know with what you know can get you a lot further, if that makes sense.
Oh, it does.
So
Mhm.
find good people, surround yourself with good people. Whoever you surround with, you're more likely to follow some of their good traits. And that will make the transition a little bit easier. We all need educators, and education comes from different places, exactly from what you do from work to exactly from who you hang out with or who you spend your time with or what you read from or which school you go to, what you study. So me knowing you brought my idea about being in the trucking business. If I didn't met you, if I wasn't at that security spot doing what I did, I probably wouldn't have think about being a trucker or being in the trucking industry or being in the system to support the truckers, you know?
Yeah. I mean, you're meeting you too. Help me, getting this podcast out. So we're helping each other, man. We're
There
growing.
you
Iron
see,
sharpens
yeah,
iron. Yeah.
exactly, exactly.
There you
So
go.
that's what anybody or everybody should do. I
That's it.
wish it's a lot easier. I wish it was a lot easier to make friends, because everyone is living in their own life right now, and everybody is has their own struggles. Most people can't even maintain their lifestyle without having two jobs, let alone have time for friends and family.
Yeah.
So even if you make friends or connection at whatever job you have, that's one, the first step. And then who's to say that person might not bring their best friend to you? You know, it's just connection. Find a connection, and then everything else should smoothen it out. At
Yeah.
least that's how I look at it.
Yeah. That's good advice. Yeah. It's real good advice. So I appreciate you sharing it with our listeners.
Yes.
Hey man, it's been a pleasure. I know you're busy. Everybody has a lot going on, and that you took the moment to share those values with us, and also insights as to how your life has helped so many other people by being positive, by being disciplined, and also motivating. That's huge. Your perseverance, the power of pursuing your passions. We applaud you and we want you to continue. If there's anything you need, we want to be there for you, like that community that you're looking for. In the trucking industry, will always remember that. So have
Thank
no doubt that you'll achieve your goals. I can't wait to see where you go in the journey and where it takes you next. So,
I
yeah.
appreciate that. I
hmm
appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you again for joining us today. And it's been a pleasure.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate that.
hmm
Thank you.
Yeah.
Have a good night.
Well, so and to all our listeners out there, thanks for tuning in to another episode of That's Delivered. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with your friends, and create that community. Until next time, uh, keep the wheels turning and stay safe on the road.
Are you a trucker looking for a safe and reliable place to park? Look no further than Truck Parking Club. With locations across the country, we've got the perfect spot waiting for you, whether it's daily or long-term parking. And right now, use promo code DELIVERED at checkout for an exclusive discount. Reserve your spot today at truckparkingclub.com and drive stress-free, knowing your parking is covered.